The night sky over the Korean mountains exploded with light. Tay looked up from his campfire and saw something burning as it fell from the stars. It was not a meteor. The object was too big and moving in the wrong way. He watched as it crashed somewhere deep in the forest, maybe 5 kilometers away. The ground shook under his feet. Tay grabbed his backpack and radio. He tried calling the ranger station, but only static came through. Whatever had fallen was interfering with the signals. He checked his compass and started running toward the crash site. As a park ranger, he had walked these mountains for 8 years. He knew every trail and every dangerous cliff. The smell of burning metal reached him first. Then he saw the smoke rising above the trees. When Tay finally reached the site, he stopped and stared. This was not an airplane. The wreckage looked like nothing he had ever seen. Smooth metal panels lay scattered everywhere, still glowing with strange blue lights. The main part of the craft had carved a deep trench through the forest. Tay approached carefully. His training told him to wait for emergency services, but something made him move closer. That was when he heard it, a sound that was almost human, but not quite. Someone was crying inside the wreckage. He climbed over twisted metal and pushed through a gap in the hull. Inside, the air felt wrong, too clean, too cold. Lights flickered on panels covered with symbols he could not read. Then he saw her. She was pinned under a fallen beam. Her skin had a faint silver tint that caught the emergency lights. Her hair was long and white, moving slightly as if underwater. Her eyes opened when she heard him. They were purple, deep purple like nothing found in nature on Earth. She spoke, but the words meant nothing to Tay. Her voice was musical but filled with pain. She tried to reach for something on her belt, but her arm would not move properly. Blood ran down her face. It was red like human blood, which somehow surprised him. Tay did not hesitate. He moved to the beam and tried to lift it. Too heavy. He looked around and found a piece of metal pipe. Using it as a lever, he pushed with all his strength. The beam shifted. The woman cried out, but he kept pushing until she could pull herself free. She tried to stand but collapsed. Tay caught her before she hit the ground. Her weight felt normal. She felt real. Whatever she was hurt and needed help. The ship made a sound like grinding metal. More sparks flew from the panels. Tay saw something behind the symbols. Numbers. A countdown. He did not need to read the alien language to understand what was happening. The ship was going to explode. He lifted the woman over his shoulder and ran. His legs burned as he carried her away from the wreck. Behind them, the whining sound grew louder. Tay pushed through bushes and jumped over rocks. 50 meters. 100 meters. Not enough. The explosion threw them both forward. Tay twisted in the air to take the impact on his back. They hit the ground hard and rolled. Heat washed over them. Debris rained down through the trees. A piece of burning metal stabbed into the ground centimeters from his head. When everything stopped, Tay lay still for a moment. Every part of his body hurt. He checked himself. Nothing broken. He looked at the woman. She was unconscious but breathing. The explosion had destroyed any chance of calling for help from the wreckage. Tay knew he had to make a choice. His cabin was 2 kilometers away. The ranger station was 8 kilometers away with no clear path. The woman needed help now. He lifted her again, more carefully this time, and started walking. The journey took almost an hour. Every step hurt. The woman drifted in and out of consciousness, mumbling words he could not understand. When they finally reached his cabin, Tay kicked the door open and laid her on his bed. He lit the oil lamps. No electricity out here. He had a solar panel for his radio and phone, but both devices were smashed from the fall. He was alone with an injured alien woman and no way to call for help. Tay had been a medic in the army before becoming a ranger. He knew how to treat injuries. He started with the basics. Check for breathing, check for bleeding, stabilize any breaks. Her blood stopped flowing as he cleaned and bandaged her wounds. Good sign. The cut on her head looked bad but was not deep. Her leg worried him more. Swollen and bent at a wrong angle. Broken, for sure. He found straight pieces of wood and cloth. He had no proper medical supplies for setting bones, but he had done this before in the field. He worked carefully, feeling for the break, then pulling and setting the bone as straight as he could. The woman screamed even in her unconscious state. Tay felt terrible but kept working. A badly set bone would leave her crippled. When he finished, he sat back and looked at her. She was alien. Completely alien. But she was also just a person who had been hurt and scared. A person who needed help. He made soup on his small stove, simple vegetable broth. He did not know if she could eat human food, but it was all he had. When the broth cooled, he tried to get her to drink. Most of it spilled, but some went down. Tay pulled a chair next to the bed and sat down. Outside, he could still see the glow from the burning wreckage lighting up the sky. Someone would see that. Someone would come. He just had to keep her alive until then. The woman's eyes opened slightly. She looked at him with those purple eyes. Fear showed clearly on her face. Tay raised his hands slowly, showing he was not a threat. He pointed to himself. "Tay," he said clearly. She stared at him. Then she pointed to herself with a shaking hand. "Lyria," she whispered. Her voice was weak. Tay nodded and smiled. "Lyria," he repeated. She tried to say something else, but the words came out in her language. Frustrated tears ran down her face. Tay gently wiped them away with a clean cloth. "It's okay," he said softly, even though she could not understand. "You're safe now." Lyria looked at him for a long moment. Then, slowly, she relaxed. Her eyes closed again. Her breathing became steady. She was sleeping properly now, not unconscious. Tay stood and looked out the window. The night was still dark. Tomorrow would bring questions, maybe danger. But tonight, he had saved a life. That was enough. He checked her bandages one more time, then settled into his chair. He would not sleep tonight. He would keep watch. Whatever happened next, he would face it when the sun rose. Morning light came through the cabin windows. Tay had not slept at all. He had watched Lyria through the night, checking her pulse and breathing every hour. She was stable. That was good. He was making tea when her eyes opened. She looked around the cabin with confusion and fear. Her hand went to her head, touching the bandages. Then she saw him. Lyria tried to sit up too quickly and gasped in pain. Her broken leg reminded her why she could not move. Tay rushed over with his hands raised in a calming gesture. He pointed to her leg and shook his head slowly. She needed to stay still. She spoke rapidly in her language. Her tone was urgent and demanding. She kept touching something behind her ear. A small metal device was embedded in her skin there. She pressed it several times, but nothing happened. Her face showed panic. Tay brought her water. She stared at the cup suspiciously, then looked at him. He drank from his own cup to show it was safe. Lyria hesitated, then drank. She seemed surprised it tasted normal. He brought her the soup from last night, heated up. She ate slowly, never taking her eyes off him. Tay sat across the room to give her space. He did not want to scare her more than she already was. After eating, Lyria seemed calmer. She looked around the cabin more carefully. Her eyes stopped on things that confused her. The oil lamps, the wood stove, the simple furniture. She looked at Tay again, and he saw something new in her expression. Disbelief. She pointed at herself and then at the sky. Then she made gestures that Tay understood meant traveling. She pointed at him and then at the ground. She seemed to be asking where she was. Tay found paper and a pencil. He drew simple pictures. A circle for Earth. A stick figure for himself. Then he drew her ship falling from the sky. He showed her the cabin. He tried to explain through drawings that her ship had crashed, and he had brought her here. Lyria took the pencil. Her hands shook slightly as she drew. She made a circle and filled it with smaller circles. Then she drew lines connecting them, a map of some kind. She pointed to one circle and then to herself. Then she pointed to his drawing of Earth and tapped it hard. She drew a symbol next to it that looked like a warning sign. Tay understood. Her people knew about Earth, and Earth was marked as something off-limits. Over the next hour, they continued this way, drawing and gesturing. Lyria's frustration grew every time she could not make him understand something. She kept touching the device behind her ear. Once, she hit it hard enough to make herself wince. Tay had an idea. He brought out his old medical kit and took out a small mirror. He held it so Lyria could see the device on her head. It was cracked, damaged in the crash. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. When she opened them again, tears were there. She spoke one word over and over. It sounded like she was saying stranded. Tay felt sorry for her. He knew what it was like to be alone and hurt. He thought about the best way to help. Then he remembered something. He went to a box under his bed and pulled out old books, language learning books from when he had tried to teach himself English. He brought them to Lyria and opened one. He pointed to the Korean word for hello and then to the English translation. Then he pointed to himself and said both words out loud. Lyria looked at the book, then at him. Understanding showed on her face. She pointed to the words and tried to say them. Her pronunciation was terrible, but Tay smiled and nodded encouragement. They spent the afternoon this way, Tay teaching her basic Korean words, Lyria learning fast, much faster than seemed possible. When she understood a word, she would repeat it perfectly after only hearing it twice. By evening, she could say simple things. Water, food, pain, thank you. She pointed to him and said Tay clearly. Then she pointed to herself. Lyria, Princess Lyria. She said more words in her language, then looked frustrated again. Tay understood the word princess. He looked at her with surprise. She nodded seriously. Then she pointed to the sky and made a gesture like an explosion. She drew quick pictures showing ships, battles, many people dying. He understood. She was important. And something bad was happening out there. Something she was supposed to stop. That night, Tay made a better meal. Rice, vegetables, some dried fish. Lyria ate everything, seeming hungry. She tried each food carefully at first, then ate normally. Their bodies were not so different after all. After eating, Lyria tried to stand. Tay helped her. She needed to move around even with a broken leg. He found a strong branch and made her a simple crutch. She looked at it like it was something from a museum, but she used it. She walked around the small cabin slowly. She stopped at his books and touched them gently. She looked at his simple tools, his camping equipment, his ranger uniform hanging on the wall. Each thing seemed to fascinate and confuse her. She pointed at the oil lamp and then at him. She made a gesture like a question. Why? Tay tried to explain. No electricity here, too far from the city. He liked it simple. He drew pictures of cities with tall buildings, then his cabin alone in the mountains. He pointed to the cabin and smiled. Lyria looked at him like he was crazy. Then she laughed. It was a beautiful sound, surprised and genuine. She said something in her language that sounded like she was calling him strange. On the second day, Lyria's translator made a sound. Just a small beep, but her face lit up with hope. She touched it carefully. Another beep. Then words, scratchy and broken, but words Tay could almost understand. Is working. Small. Not all. Her voice came through the device mixed with her real voice. You can understand me now? Tay asked. Small words, simple words, yes. She looked relieved. You save me. Ship go boom. You carry me. Why? You needed help, Tay said simply. But I am not your people. I am... She struggled for words. Different. Strange. You needed help. Tay repeated. That's all that matters. Lyria stared at him for a long moment. My people say your people are not smart, not advanced, not civilized. She seemed embarrassed saying this. Tay smiled. Your ship crashed. My simple home is still standing. Who is more advanced? She laughed again. Then her face became serious. My father will look for me. He is big leader, emperor. He will send many ships. This is bad for your world. Why bad? Your world is supposed to be secret, hidden. We not supposed to come here. Rules say wait many years before contact. But my father will break rules to find me. He will bring ships, weapons. Other people will see. They will come too. Bad people. Tay understood. Her presence here was dangerous for Earth. What should we do? I need to tell him I am safe. I need to send message. But my ship is gone. My communicator is broken. I am stuck. She looked at him. Unless you have communication technology? Tay thought about his smashed radio and phone. Then he had an idea. Maybe. I might know someone who can help, but we need to move. We need to get to a town. Lyria looked at her broken leg. I cannot walk far. Then we go slow. Better to move slow than wait here. The crash was big. People will come looking. Maybe not your people first. Maybe my people. Government. Military. They will have questions. Lyria nodded. When? Tomorrow morning. Tonight we rest and prepare. That evening, Tay taught her more words. She taught him a few of hers. They ate together. And for the first time since the crash, Lyria smiled without fear. She was still hurt, still stranded, still worried, but she was not alone. This strange, primitive human had saved her life and was helping her without asking for anything in return. She watched him prepare supplies for their journey. His movements were efficient and practiced. He knew exactly what to bring, how to pack it, how to survive. Her royal training had taught her many things, but nothing useful for this situation. All her advanced knowledge meant nothing here. Tay, she said softly. He looked up. Thank you. Really thank you. He smiled. We'll figure this out. Together. For the first time since landing on this backwards planet, Princess Lyria felt hope. Far above Earth, in the cold darkness of space, Emperor Vexthor stood on the bridge of his flagship. His face was made of hard angles and pale blue skin. His eyes glowed with a soft golden light. Right now, those eyes showed something he rarely felt. Fear. How long has she been missing? He demanded. The commander standing before him trembled slightly. 14 hours, Your Majesty. Her ship's last signal came from this system, then nothing. Vexthor looked at the blue and green planet below. Earth, a forbidden world, primitive, undeveloped, protected by ancient Galactic Council laws that said advanced species could not contact them for 500 more years. I don't care about Council laws, Vexthor said coldly. My daughter is down there. Prepare landing teams. Find her. Your Majesty, if we land, other empires will know. They will question why you broke the protocols. Let them question. Assemble the fleet, now. Across the galaxy, in a dark ship with red lights, another leader received the same news. Lord Kresh of the Kryn Dominion smiled with his sharp teeth. His gray skin seemed to absorb the light around him. The princess is missing near Earth? He asked. Yes, Lord Kresh. The Emperor is sending his fleet. Perfect. The princess was traveling to the peace talks. Without her, those talks will fail. The war we want will begin. Kresh leaned forward. Send our best hunters. Find the princess before the Emperor does. Kill her. Make it look like an accident. Blame the primitive humans if possible. It will be done. Kresh watched Earth on his screen. Such a small, pathetic world. But today it would serve his purpose. Today it would help him start the greatest war the galaxy had ever seen. On Earth, Tay and Lyria had left the cabin before sunrise. Moving through the forest was slow work. Lyria used the crutch, but her leg caused her pain with every step. Tay stayed close, ready to catch her if she fell. "How far to your friend?" Lyria asked. Her translator was working better now, though still imperfect. 10 kilometers, maybe 6 more hours at this speed. Tell me about this friend. His name is Hyun. We were soldiers together. Now he fixes machines in a small town. He's smart. If anyone can help fix your communicator, it's him. They walked in silence for a while. Then Lyria stopped. "Tay, look." She pointed at the sky. Tay saw them too, lights moving in patterns that were not airplanes or satellites, several of them. All heading toward the area where her ship had crashed. "Your people?" Tay asked. "Maybe, or maybe others. I cannot tell from here." "We need to move faster." They pushed harder. Lyria bit back cries of pain. Tay offered to carry her, but she refused. She was a princess. She would not be carried like a child. An hour later, they heard sounds behind them. Something moving through the forest. Something trying to be quiet, but not quite succeeding. Tay pulled Lyria behind a large rock and put his finger to his lips. 3 figures emerged from the trees. They were not human. Their bodies were covered in gray armor that seemed to shift colors to match the environment. They carried weapons that looked like rifles but glowed with blue energy. These were not Lyria's people. Their armor had different symbols. One of them held up a device that beeped and pointed in their direction. "Kryn hunters," Lyria whispered. "They track me. We must run." "You can't run with that leg." "Then we fight." "With what?" "I have a knife. They have energy weapons." Lyria looked at him seriously. "Then we hide. Can you lose them?" Tay thought fast. "Maybe. Follow me exactly. Step where I step." He led her through the forest, taking a path that crossed a rocky stream. Water would hide their scent and footprints. Then he took them through a thick patch of thorny bushes that tore at their clothes but would slow down anyone in heavy armor. Behind them, they heard frustrated sounds in an alien language. The hunters were having trouble following. Tay brought Lyria to a small cave he knew. It was more of a gap between rocks, but it would hide them. They squeezed inside and waited. The hunters passed by 30 minutes later. Tay watched them through a crack in the rocks. They moved awkwardly in the forest. Their armor and weapons were advanced, but they did not know this terrain. They did not know how to track in wilderness. When the hunters were gone, Tay and Lyria continued, but now they both knew the danger was real. They were being hunted. They reached the town as the sun was setting. It was a small place, one main street, a few shops, some houses. Hyun's repair shop sat at the edge of town. Tay knocked on the back door in a pattern. 3 fast, 2 slow, 1 fast. The door opened. Hyun stood there, a tall man with strong arms and suspicious eyes. Those eyes went wide when he saw Lyria. "What in the world?" "I need your help," Tay said. "Can we come in?" Hyun stared for another moment, then stepped aside. "This better be good." Inside the shop, Hyun locked the door and closed all the curtains. He looked at Lyria carefully. "She's not human. She's from space. Her ship crashed. She needs to contact her people." "Of course she does." Hyun rubbed his face. "You know this is insane, right?" "I know, but I need your help. Can you look at this?" Tay showed him the damaged communicator piece they had salvaged from Lyria's belt. Hyun took it carefully. His hands, used to working with engines and electronics, turned it over. "This technology is way beyond anything I've seen. But maybe I can work with the basic principles. Energy source, transmitter, receiver, same concepts, just more advanced." "How long?" "Days. Maybe a week." "We might not have that long," Lyria said. Everyone looked at her. Her translator was working almost perfectly now. Bad people hunt me. My father sends fleet. Time is short. Hyun looked at Tae. What did you get us into? He saved my life, Lyria said firmly. I would be dead without him. Now I ask for help to not bring war to your world. War? Hyun's face became serious. The soldier in him came back. Explain. Everything. Lyria told them. About her mission to stop a war. About the Kryn who wanted that war to happen. About her father who would do anything to get her back, even break laws that protected Earth. About what would happen if multiple alien empires started fighting over Earth. So we're caught in the middle of galactic politics, Hyun said. Great! Just great! Can you help or not? Tae asked. Hyun looked at the communicator again. Then he looked at Lyria, then at his friend. I must be crazy, but yes, I'll help. Come on, let's see what we can do. He led them to his workshop. Tools and machines covered every surface. He cleared a space and set up the communicator. Tell me how this works. Basic function. Lyria explained as best she could. She drew diagrams, pointed out components. Hyun listened and nodded, occasionally asking questions that showed he understood more than Tae expected. I think I can build a booster, Hyun said. Use my radio equipment to amplify the signal. It won't be perfect, but it might reach orbit. How long? Lyria asked again. Give me tonight. I work better at night anyway. Hyun made them food, rice and kimchi and pork. Lyria tried kimchi and her eyes watered. Too spicy. They all laughed. It was a strange moment. A human mechanic, a park ranger, and an alien princess eating dinner together in a small repair shop while hunters searched for them outside. Why do you help me? Lyria asked suddenly. Both of you. You gain nothing. You risk much. Tae and Hyun looked at each other. Hyun shrugged. He's my friend. He asks for help. I help. But I am alien, strange, not your people. You're a person who needs help, Tae said. That's enough. Lyria looked down at her food. In her empire, people helped each other for advantage, for political gain, for status. Nobody helped just because it was right. This strange primitive world was teaching her things her advanced civilization had forgotten. Outside, lights moved in the sky. More ships arriving. The hunt was growing. Time was running out. But inside the small shop, 3 people worked together on a problem that might save the world. Hyun's hands moved over wires and circuit boards. Tae watched the windows for danger. Lyria provided knowledge about alien technology, each person doing what they did best. We're going to pull this off, Hyun said with confidence. I can feel it. Tae hoped he was right, because somewhere above them fleets were gathering, and somewhere in the forest hunters were searching. The primitive humans and their alien friend were running out of time. The Kryn hunters moved through the forest with growing frustration. Their equipment kept giving false readings. Their thermal scanners picked up too many heat signatures from animals. Their motion sensors triggered on falling leaves. This primitive world was proving difficult to navigate. The princess signal is close, the lead hunter said. His name was Vorg. He had killed 17 important targets in his career. This should have been easy. The tracking device in her body shows she is within 2 kilometers. This forest is thick, another hunter complained. Our armor keeps catching on branches. Stop complaining. We are Kryn. We are superior to these primitive humans. Find the princess. Kill her. Then we leave this backward planet. What the hunters did not know was that their movements were being watched. Tae had expected them to come to the town. He had prepared. In Hyun's shop, the 3 worked through the night. By morning, Hyun had created something that looked like a combination of Lyria's communicator, a car battery, and a radio tower made from metal pipes. It's not pretty, but it should work, Hyun said. The signal won't be strong, but if any of your ships are close, they'll hear it. Lyria looked at the device with amazement. You built this from scrap? Welcome to human engineering. We make things work with what we have. Hyun connected the last wire. Ready to try? Before Lyria could answer, Tae came running from the window. They're here, 3 of them, coming down the main street. Hyun grabbed a rifle from his wall. Back door, now! Wait, Tae said. He had a different idea. Hyun, can that device send a signal right now? Yes, but it needs a few minutes to charge and broadcast. Then we buy you time. Lyria, tell me, what are their weapons designed to fight? Other advanced armor, energy shields, plasma weapons. Not bullets? Bullets are primitive. Nobody uses them in galactic warfare anymore. Their shields might not even register them as a threat. Tae smiled. Good. Hyun, give me your rifle, and that bow on the wall. The compound bow? You can't be serious. Very serious. Their technology makes them confident. Maybe too confident. We use what they don't expect. Hyun understood. He handed over the weapons. Just like old times, friend. Just like old times. The Kryn hunters kicked down the front door of the shop, their weapons charged up with a high-pitched whine. They expected to find their target cowering and helpless. Instead, an arrow hit the lead hunter in the gap between his helmet and chest armor. The hunter looked down in shock. An arrow? These primitives were using arrows? His shields had not activated because they were calibrated for energy weapons and high-velocity projectiles. A simple arrow was too slow to trigger them. Vorg fell to his knees, pulling at the arrow. His blood was black and thick. The other 2 hunters fired wildly. Their plasma bolts burned holes in the walls. Tae and Hyun were already gone, moving to different positions. A rifle shot rang out. Old-fashioned, loud. One hunter's weapon exploded in his hands as Hyun's bullet struck it perfectly. The hunter screamed and dropped the ruined device. Retreat! The remaining hunter shouted. Regroup outside! They dragged their injured leader out of the shop. Outside, they tried to call their ship for support, but their communications were jammed. That strange device the princess and the humans had built was filling all frequencies with noise. Clever primitives, Vorg hissed through his pain. We underestimated them. In the shop's basement, Lyria worked frantically with the communicator. Signal is broadcasting. I am sending distress call, identifying myself, sending coordinates. Please work, please work. Above, Tae and Hyun had moved to the roof. The hunters had taken cover behind vehicles. They were regrouping, planning their next move. We can't fight them for long, Hyun said. We're just buying time. How much time does she need? 5 more minutes, maybe 10. A plasma bolt hit the roof near them. The hunters were trying to flush them out. Tae looked around. The town was small, limited cover, limited options. But he knew something the hunters did not. He knew the terrain. Follow me, he said to Hyun. They climbed down and ran through the buildings. Tae led them to the old tunnel system. During the war decades ago, people had dug shelters under the town. Most were collapsed now, but some remained. Tae had explored them as a boy. They emerged behind the hunter's position. Now the advantage was theirs. Hyun fired 2 shots. Both hit home. One hunter went down, the other turned and fired wildly, missing them completely. The last hunter standing was young, inexperienced. He had relied on his technology and training. Now faced with primitive weapons and tactics he did not understand, he panicked. He ran. Tae let him go. They had won. For now. Back in the shop, Lyria's communicator chirped. A response. Someone had heard her signal. This is Imperial Scout Vessel Brightwing. Princess Lyria, we confirm your identity. Are you safe? Lyria nearly cried with relief. I am safe. I am with humans who helped me. But Kryn hunters are here. They want to kill me. Understood. Alerting the fleet. Hold your position. Help is coming. But Lyria heard something else in the background of the transmission. Another voice, angry, powerful. "Let me speak to her." "Your Majesty, perhaps—" "Now." Lyria recognized her father's voice. "Father? Lyria, you are alive. Where are you? Who has you? Are you hurt?" "I am safe, father. My ship crashed. A human found me and saved my life. He and his friends protected me from Kryn hunters." "Humans? You mean the primitives? Impossible. They barely have space travel." "They do not need space travel to be brave, father. They saved me when all my technology failed." There was silence. Then her father spoke more carefully. "We are coming down to get you. All ships. Prepare for extraction." "Father, no. That will violate the protection laws. It will cause problems." "I do not care about laws. You are my daughter." Tay and Hyun returned to the basement. They saw Lyria's worried face and understood something had gone wrong. "What happened?" Tay asked. "My father is sending the whole fleet. He will land here, in your town. This will expose Earth to the galaxy. This will change everything for your world." Tay thought about this. First contact with aliens. It would change Earth forever. Governments would panic. Society would change. Nothing would ever be the same. "Can you stop him?" he asked. "Maybe, if I speak to him directly. But he is angry. Emotional. He might not listen." "Try," Tay said. "We did not save you just to have your rescue destroy our world." Lyria nodded. She spoke into the communicator again. "Father, please listen. The humans ask for one thing. They ask to be left alone. They ask that you not expose them yet. They are not ready. They protected you. I owe them a debt. But I also need you safe. Then come quietly. Small ship. Few people. No weapons display. Please, Father, do this for me. These people are good. They deserve our respect." Another long pause. Then Emperor Vexthor spoke. "Very well. For you, daughter. But I will judge these primitives myself. If they have harmed you in any way, there will be consequences. They saved me, Father, remember that." The transmission ended. Lyria sat back, exhausted. "He is coming. Just him and a few guards. A small ship." "Will there be trouble?" Hyun asked. "I hope not, but my father is proud, and he does not like being in debt to anyone, especially not primitives." Tay checked his rifle. "Then we be ready, just in case." Outside, the wounded Kryn hunters retreated to their ship. They had failed. The princess was alive and had contacted her people. Their mission was over, but they sent a final transmission to Lord Kresh. "Mission failed, princess is alive, Imperial forces incoming, advising full retreat." Lord Kresh received the news with cold anger. "So the primitives proved useful. Interesting. Very interesting." He looked at Earth on his display. "Perhaps this world is not as primitive as we thought. Something to remember." As the sun rose over the small town, Tay stood outside Hyun's shop. He had spent 3 days helping an alien princess. He had fought other aliens. He had used human ingenuity against advanced technology and won. Now he was about to meet an emperor, an alien emperor who ruled over millions of worlds. And Tai was just a park ranger from the mountains. He smiled at the absurdity of it all. "Ready for this?" Hyun asked, standing beside him. "No," Tay admitted, "but we do it anyway." "That's the human spirit," Hyun said with a grin. "Too stupid to quit," Tay laughed, "or too brave to back down." Above them, a ship descended. Smaller than the crashed vessel, but still impressive. Silver and elegant, it settled gently in the field outside town. A door opened. The Emperor had arrived. The Emperor's ship was beautiful. Even Tay, who knew nothing about spacecraft, could see that. It reflected the morning sun like a mirror. When the door opened, 6 guards emerged first. They wore armor that was polished to perfection. Each carried a weapon that hummed with barely contained energy. Then came Emperor Vexthor himself. He was tall, very tall, at least 7 feet. His skin was the pale blue of glacial ice. His eyes glowed with golden light that seemed to pierce through everything they looked at. He wore robes that shifted colors as he moved. Power radiated from him like heat from a fire. Lyria limped forward on her crutch. "Father." Vexthor's stern expression broke. He rushed to her and wrapped her in his arms. For a moment, he was not an emperor. He was just a father holding his daughter. "My child, my precious child. I thought I had lost you." "I am here, father. I am safe." He pulled back and looked at her broken leg and bandages. Anger returned to his face. "Who did this to you?" "The crash did this. But these humans saved me, healed me, protected me." Vexthor looked at Tay and Hyan for the first time. His glowing eyes studied them. Tay felt like he was being examined under a microscope. The Emperor saw the rifle on Hyan's back, the knife at Tay's belt, the simple clothes, the rough hands. "These are primitives," Vexthor said, not as an insult, just as a fact. "They barely have technology. How could they protect you from Kryn hunters?" "Because they are smart in different ways," Lyria said. "Because they know this world. Because they did not underestimate the enemy." Tay stepped forward. Hyan tried to stop him, but Tay moved ahead anyway. He stood before the Emperor and did not bow. Did not kneel. He met those golden eyes directly. "Your daughter needed help," Tay said simply. "I helped, that's all." The guards tensed. One raised his weapon slightly. Nobody spoke to the Emperor like that. Nobody looked at him as an equal, but Vexthor raised a hand, stopping his guards. He studied Tay more carefully. "You are not afraid." "I am terrified," Tay admitted. "But fear doesn't change what's right." Vexthor almost smiled. Almost. "What is your name, primitive?" "Tay." "Park ranger. This is Hyun, mechanic and friend." "Tay, Hyun." The Emperor spoke their names carefully. "My daughter says you saved her life. Is this true?" "Yes." "Why?" "Because she needed help." "You wanted nothing? No reward? No advantage?" "No." Vexthor looked genuinely confused. "In my empire, nobody helps without expecting something in return. Yet you helped anyway. Why?" Lyria interrupted. "Father, we do not have time for this. The Kryn know I am here. They want me dead. More will come." "Let them come," Vexthor said coldly. "My fleet surrounds this planet. Any Kryn ship that enters this system will be destroyed." "Your fleet surrounds Earth?" Hyun spoke up. "How many ships?" 300 vessels, all armed, all ready to protect my daughter." Tay and Hyun looked at each other with concern. 300 alien warships around Earth. If any government detected them, there would be panic. Chaos. "You must pull them back," Tay said firmly. The guards gasped. One actually laughed. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "You dare give me orders?" "I dare ask you to respect our world. We helped your daughter. We ask that you not expose Earth before we are ready. Hide your ships. Take your daughter quietly. Leave us in peace." "And if I refuse?" "Then you will prove that advanced civilizations have no honor." Silence. The Emperor stared at Tay. The air felt dangerous. One word from Vexthor and the guards would kill them all. Then the Emperor laughed, deep and genuine. "You have courage, primitive. Stupid courage, but courage nonetheless." He turned to his guards. "Contact the fleet. Tell them to maintain high orbit, stealth mode, minimal signatures." "Your Majesty?" one guard questioned. "Do it." The Emperor looked back at Tay. "I will honor your request. For now. But understand this. My daughter's safety comes first. If the Kryn attack again, I will not hide my ships. I will burn them from your sky." "Fair enough," Tay said. Lyria looked relieved. Crisis averted. For now. But Hyun was watching his equipment. He had set up sensors around the town after the first attack. Now those sensors were screaming warnings. "We have incoming. Multiple contacts. Coming fast." "Kryn?" Vexthor asked. "Maybe. Or maybe something else." They did not have to wait long. 3 ships appeared in the sky. They were different from both Lyria's crashed ship and the Emperor's vessel. These were dark, ugly, built for function, not beauty. A voice boomed from speakers. "Emperor Vexthor, we represent the Kryn Dominion. Surrender the princess to us. This is your only warning." "They followed my fleet," Vexthor said with anger. "They dare threaten me." "Father, do not engage here," Lyria said urgently. "Not above this town. Innocent people live here." Tay made a decision. "Everyone inside, now." "You think your building will protect you from plasma weapons?" A guard scoffed. "No, but I have an idea." Tay looked at the Emperor. "Trust me." Vexthor studied him, then nodded. "Very well. We go inside." They moved into Hyun's shop. The Emperor had to duck to fit through the door. His guards looked around at the simple human technology with barely hidden contempt. Tay went to Hyun's computer. "Can you hack into the local emergency broadcast system?" "Yes, but why?" "Do it. I need to send a message. Make it look like it's coming from the military." Hyun understood. His fingers flew over the keyboard. "Done. You're live." Tay spoke into the microphone. He changed his voice slightly, making it official. "Attention, Kryn vessels. This is Earth Defense Force. You are violating our airspace. You have 30 seconds to leave, or we will open fire." In the Kryn ships, the commanders laughed. "Earth Defense Force? The primitives do not even have a unified military. They cannot harm us." But they were wrong. Tay had planned for this. Throughout the night, while Hyun built the communicator, Tay had been placing charges. Explosives salvaged from old mining equipment, placed carefully around the field where ships would likely land. 10 seconds, Tay said calmly into the microphone. He held the detonator in his other hand. "They are bluffing," the Kryn commander said. "Prepare to land. Take the princess by force. Kill anyone who resists." The ships descended. 5 seconds. "This is a mistake," Vexthor said. "You cannot fight them with primitive explosives." "Watch me," Tay said. 3, 2, 1. Tay pressed the detonator. The field exploded, not with high-tech plasma or energy weapons, just old-fashioned explosive charges. Dirt and rock flew into the air. The blast caught the Kryn ships as they landed. It did not destroy them, but it damaged them, cracked their hulls, disrupted their systems, and it sent a message. "Second warning," Tay said into the microphone. "Leave now, or the next charges are nuclear." He was bluffing about the nuclear part, but the Kryn did not know that. In orbit, the Kryn fleet detected something else. The Emperor's ships were powering up weapons. 300 Imperial warships against 12 Kryn vessels. The odds were clear. "Retreat," the Kryn commander ordered. "This is not worth dying for. Lord Kresh can plan another attempt." The damaged ships limped back into orbit, then jumped away into faster-than-light travel. In the shop, everyone stared at Tay. He set down the detonator with shaking hands. He had just bluffed an alien fleet into retreating, with explosives and confidence. Emperor Vexthor laughed again. "Magnificent, absolutely magnificent. You are clever, primitive." "My name is Tay," Tay said firmly. "Yes, Tay." The Emperor said it with respect this time. "You fight like a warrior, think like a tactician, and you have honor." He looked at his daughter. "You were right about these humans." Lyria smiled. "I told you, father." But Hyun was still watching his sensors. "We're not done. Look." More ships appeared, but these were different. Sleeker. They bore the symbol of the Galactic Council. The police force of the galaxy had arrived. A new voice came through the communicators. "This is Council Arbiter Zol. All vessels stand down. This system is under Council protection. Emperor Vexthor, you have violated the non-contact protocols. Explain yourself." Vexthor looked frustrated. "Politics. I hate politics." "What will you tell them?" Lyria asked. The Emperor thought carefully. Then he looked at Tay and Hyun. "The truth. That my daughter crashed here. That the primitives of this world saved her, protected her, showed more honor than most advanced species." He smiled. "And that Earth deserves our respect." Tay felt something loosen in his chest. Relief. The Emperor understood. He really understood. "Thank you," Tay said quietly. "No, Tay of Earth, thank you." Vexthor placed a hand on Tay's shoulder. "You have taught me something today. Advanced technology does not mean advanced wisdom. My people have forgotten that. You reminded me." A council shuttle landed. Officials emerged, looking stern and official. They saw the Emperor, the damaged Kryn ships, the primitive human town. Confusion showed on their faces. "This will be an interesting conversation," Vexthor said. He looked at Tay one more time. "Will you stand with me? Tell them what happened?" Tay nodded. "Yes." "Good. Let us show the galaxy what humans are made of." Together, the Emperor and the park ranger walked out to meet the council. An alien princess limped beside them on her crutch. A mechanic followed with a rifle. The most unlikely rescue party in galactic history. But they had succeeded. Against technology, against hunters, against all odds, they had succeeded with courage, cleverness, and something the advanced galaxy had forgotten: simple human decency. Arbiter Zol stepped from the council shuttle with the confidence of someone used to being obeyed. His species was tall and thin, with skin that looked like polished copper. His eyes were completely white, without pupils, but they seemed to see everything. "Emperor Vexthor," Zol said formally, "you have broken the most sacred law of the Galactic Council. Non-contact species must not be approached until they achieve faster-than-light travel, yet you brought an entire fleet to this protected world." "My daughter was dying here," Vexthor replied. "Would you have me abandon her?" "The law exists for good reasons. Contact with advanced species before a civilization is ready can destroy their entire culture." Zol looked at Tay and Hyun with something like pity. These primitives will never be the same now. Their natural development has been contaminated. "Stop calling us primitives," Tay said firmly. Zol looked surprised that the human had spoken. "But you are primitive. You have not achieved interstellar travel. You war among yourselves. You pollute your own world. By every measure, you are centuries away from being ready for galactic society." "Maybe," Tay admitted. "But we saved the princess when all her advanced technology failed. We fought off Kryn hunters with bows and rifles. We made an alien communicator work with car batteries and radio parts. Primitive, maybe, but effective." Zol studied Tay more carefully now. "You are the one who saved Princess Lyria?" "Yes." "Why?" Tay was tired of this question. "Why does everyone keep asking that? She needed help." "That's enough reason. Most species would have seen an opportunity," Zol said. "They would have demanded payment, technology, weapons, political advantages. You asked for nothing?" "I asked that you leave Earth alone. Let us develop naturally. That's all." Zol turned to Emperor Vexthor. "Is this true?" "Every word," Vexthor confirmed. "This human and his friend protected my daughter from Kryn assassins, built communication equipment from scrap, fought trained hunters with primitive weapons and won, all without asking for reward." Zol was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke to his assistant. "Bring up Earth's file." A holographic display appeared in the air. It showed Earth from space. Data scrolled past. Population numbers, technology levels, political divisions. The assessment at the bottom glowed red. Primitive. Not ready for contact. Estimated readiness 500 years minimum. This assessment was made 40 years ago, Zoll said, based on their technology and society at that time. Perhaps it needs updating. He walked toward the town. His guards followed nervously. Tay, Hyun, Lyria, and the Emperor came too. They walked down the main street of the small town. People had come out of their homes. They stood in doorways and behind windows, staring. Some took pictures with their phones. Others just watched in shocked silence. The children pointed and whispered. The old people prayed. Zoll saw all of this. They react with fear and curiosity, not violence. Interesting. A small girl, maybe 6 years old, ran up to Lyria. Her mother tried to stop her, but she was too fast. She looked up at the princess with wide eyes. "Are you an angel?" Lyria smiled. "No, little one, just someone from far away." "You're pretty," the girl said. Then she ran back to her mother. Zoll watched this interaction. "Your daughter shows no fear of the unknown, madam." The mother bowed nervously. "She's always been curious about everything." "A good trait," Zoll said. He continued walking. An old man approached. He walked with a cane and wore clothes that had been mended many times. He looked at the Emperor and bowed slightly, not out of fear, but out of respect for a fellow elder. "You are the father?" the old man asked in broken English, gesturing to Lyria. Vexthor understood. "Yes, she is my daughter." "Good daughter, polite. She helped my wife with groceries yesterday." The old man smiled. "You raised her well." The Emperor looked shocked. "My daughter helped you." She could barely walk with that crutch, but she insisted. "Good girl." Lyria looked embarrassed. "It was nothing, father. The old woman was carrying heavy bags. I helped." Vexthor stared at his daughter, the princess of the most powerful empire in the galaxy, carrying groceries for a primitive human. He did not know whether to be proud or confused. They reached Hyun's shop. Inside, Zoll examined the makeshift communicator. He touched the crude connections, the salvaged parts. The human technology merged with alien design. "This should not work," Zoll said. "The technology gap is too large. The principles are too different." "But it does work," Hyun said. "I looked at the basic function. Energy in, signal out. Same physics everywhere, right? Just different ways of using it." Zoll turned to him. "You built this?" "Me and the princess. She told me what it needed to do. I figured out how to make it do that with what I had." "Remarkable." Zoll looked at the Emperor. "Your Majesty, did you know that only 12 species in the entire galaxy have successfully adapted alien technology on first exposure? And those were all advanced species who found abandoned equipment." "What are you saying?" Vexthor asked. "I'm saying this mechanic achieved something that most advanced engineers could not. He bridged a technology gap of at least 5,000 years. With car batteries and radio parts." Zoll smiled slightly. "Perhaps our assessment of humanity needs significant revision." Suddenly, alarms sounded from the council shuttle. The Arbiter's assistant came running. "Sir, multiple Kryn vessels just entered the system. They're demanding the princess. They say if we don't surrender her, they'll attack." Everyone tensed. Vexthor's eyes blazed with anger. "How many ships?" 40, maybe more coming. They brought a full strike fleet." "They dare?" The Emperor turned to his guards. "Contact my fleet. Battle formation. Prepare to engage." "Wait," Tay said. "If you fight here, Earth will be caught in the middle. Your weapons could destroy the planet." "Then what do you suggest?" Vexthor demanded. "I will not surrender my daughter to them," Tay thought quickly. "Move the battle. Draw them away from Earth." "They will not follow unless they think they can win. They want Lyria." Lyria spoke up. "Then I'll be the bait." "Absolutely not," her father said. "Father, listen. We take a small ship, fast ship. I'll be on it. They'll follow. Lead them away from Earth. Then your fleet surrounds them. They'll be trapped. It's too dangerous. It's the only way to keep Earth safe. Zol nodded. The princess is correct. It's a sound tactical plan. Vexthor looked torn. He wanted to protect his daughter, but he also wanted to protect the world that had saved her. Finally, he nodded. Very well, but I'm going with you. And me? Tay said. Everyone looked at him. You? Vexthor said. Why? Because Lyria is my friend, because I want to see this through, because maybe you'll need someone with primitive cleverness. The Emperor studied him. Then, surprisingly, he smiled. Very well, Tay of Earth. You may come, but if we die, I'm blaming you. Fair enough. They moved quickly. A small scout ship was prepared, fast and maneuverable. Lyria, Vexthor, Tay, and 3 Imperial guards boarded. Hyun stayed behind with Zol to coordinate communications. The ship lifted off. Tay felt his stomach drop as they rose into the sky. He looked out the window and saw Earth growing smaller. The blue and white planet looked so fragile from up here. First time in space? Lyria asked. Yes. How do you feel? Terrified and amazed, both at the same time. She laughed. Good answer. The pilot's voice came through. Kryn vessels are hailing us. They've detected the princess on board. Good, Vexthor said. Lead them away from the planet. Make it look like we're trying to escape. The ship accelerated. Behind them, 40 Kryn warships gave chase, their weapons charged up, ready to fire. Tay watched them on the display. So many ships, so much firepower. This plan better work. It will, Lyria said confidently. My father is the greatest tactical mind in the Empire. She flatters me, Vexthor said, but he looked pleased. Pilot, how long until we're clear of the planet's gravity well? 3 minutes. And our fleet? Jumping into position now. On the display, space itself seemed to tear open. Hundreds of Imperial ships appeared from faster-than-light travel. They surrounded the Kryn fleet completely. The Kryn commander's face appeared on the screen. His gray skin looked pale. This is a trap. Yes, Vexthor said simply. Did you really think I would let you harm my daughter? Did you think I would let you threaten the world that saved her? His voice became cold as ice. Surrender now, or be destroyed. The Kryn commander looked at his tactical display. Outnumbered. Outgunned. Trapped. He had no choice. We surrender, he said bitterly. Wise decision. Vexthor turned to his communications officer. Take them into custody. I want to question them personally about who ordered this attack. As the Imperial fleet began capturing the Kryn ships, Tay felt the tension leave his body. They had done it. Earth was safe. He looked at the planet below. So small, so vulnerable. But today, it had been defended not just by alien empires, but by the courage and cleverness of its own people. Lyria put her hand on his shoulder. Thank you, Tay. For everything. He smiled. You're welcome. But next time you visit Earth, maybe use the front door instead of crashing. She laughed. Even the Emperor chuckled. As the ship turned back toward Earth, Tay wondered what would come next. The galaxy knew about humanity now. The Galactic Council was reassessing them. Everything was changing, but that was a problem for tomorrow. Today, they had won. And that was enough. The Galactic Council chambers floated in space between 12 different star systems. It was neutral ground. No empire could claim it. No fleet could threaten it. Here, the leaders of 1,000 worlds made decisions that affected trillions of lives. Emperor Vexthor stood before the council. Beside him stood Princess Lyria and, surprisingly, Tay. The human wore simple, clean clothes, nothing fancy. He looked completely out of place among the elaborate robes and advanced technology. The council members sat in a circle around them. Hundreds of different species, some humanoid, some not. All of them stared at the human with curiosity. Arbiter Zol spoke first. "We have reviewed the evidence. Emperor Vexthor, you violated the non-contact protocols. The law is clear. You should face sanctions." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the council. "However," Zol continued, "the circumstances were unusual. Your daughter's life was in danger. The Kryn Dominion attempted assassination on a protected world, and most significantly, the humans demonstrated capabilities we did not expect." He activated a holographic display. It showed everything. Tay pulling Lyria from the burning ship. The communicator built from scrap. The fight with Kryn hunters. The bluff that drove away a fleet. "For centuries, we have judged species by their technology," Zol said. "We assumed advanced tools meant advanced thinking. But these humans proved something different. They proved that ingenuity, courage, and compassion can matter more than technology." A council member stood. Her species looked like living crystal. "They are still primitive. One example does not change that. They war among themselves. They damage their own planet. They are not ready." "Neither were we," another member said. This one looked like a bear made of blue fur. "My species was classified as violent and territorial. We fought endless wars, but we learned. We grew. They deserve the same chance." Debate erupted. Some council members argued for maintaining the isolation. Others suggested limited contact. A few wanted full, immediate inclusion. Emperor Vexthor raised his hand. The room fell silent. Everyone respected his power, even if they did not always agree with him. "I came here expecting to defend my actions," Vexthor said, "but I find myself defending humanity instead." He looked at Tay. "This human saved my daughter when he could have ignored her. He protected her when he could have sold her to the highest bidder. He asked for nothing except respect for his world." He walked to the center of the chamber. "I have ruled for 300 years. I have met thousands of species. Most advanced species we contact ask immediately for technology, for weapons, for power. But Tay asked only to be left alone to develop naturally. That shows wisdom beyond his years and beyond his species' technology level." Lyria stepped forward. "I spent days with humans. I saw their towns, their families, the way they help each other without expecting reward. The old man who let me rest in his store. The woman who shared her food with me. The children who wanted to make me smile despite my injuries. They showed me something my own advanced civilization has forgotten. Simple kindness." She turned to face the entire council. "We judge species ready for contact when they achieve certain technology. But maybe we should judge them by how they treat strangers in need. By that measure, humanity passed the test." The Crystal Council member spoke again. "But contact will change them, their culture, their development, everything." "Change was coming anyway," Zol said. "The Kryn now know about Earth. Other empires heard about this incident. We cannot hide Earth anymore. The only question is, do we abandon them to figure this out alone, or do we guide them?" Tay finally spoke. He had been quiet, watching and listening. "May I say something?" The council looked surprised. Primitives usually did not speak at these meetings. "Go ahead," Zol said. "I understand you're trying to protect us," Tay said, "and I appreciate that, but we're not children who need to be locked away from the universe. Yes, we have problems. Yes, we fight sometimes. Yes, we make mistakes. But we also learn. We grow. We adapt." He looked around at all the different species. "You talk about us like we're fragile, like knowledge of alien life will break us. But humans are tougher than you think. We've survived ice ages, plagues, wars, disasters. We've always found a way forward." He paused. "Don't isolate us, but don't overwhelm us either. Maybe there's a middle path. Slow contact. Let us learn at our own pace. Give us time to prepare our world, but don't shut us out." Don't make us wait 500 years when we're ready now." The room was silent. Then one council member started tapping their appendage on the desk, a sign of approval in their culture. Another joined, then another. Soon, half the council was showing agreement. Zol smiled. "The human speaks wisdom. I propose a compromise. Earth receives provisional status, not full membership, not isolation, something in between." "Explain," the Crystal Council member demanded. "We establish a single contact point on Earth, an embassy. Humans who wish to can visit and learn about the galaxy. Aliens who wish to can visit Earth under strict guidelines. No technology transfer beyond basic communication. No interference in Earth politics. No military presence. Just conversation, learning, cultural exchange." "And if they abuse this privilege?" someone asked. "Then we reassess," Zol said. "But I believe they will not. These humans have shown remarkable restraint already." Emperor Vexthor nodded. "I support this proposal. Furthermore, I pledge imperial protection for Earth during this transition period. Any empire that tries to exploit them will answer to me personally." That was a serious commitment. The Emperor's protection meant something. It meant safety. The council voted. It took 3 hours. There were arguments, debates, counter-proposals. But finally, a decision was reached. By vote of 712 in favor, 280 against, and 83 abstaining, Zol announced, Earth is hereby granted provisional contact status. Limited cultural exchange is approved. An embassy will be established. Humanity will be given time to adapt and prepare for fuller galactic integration. Tay felt something loosen in his chest. Not quite relief. Not quite excitement. Something between the two. Earth would change now. But slowly, carefully, they would have time to adjust. "Thank you," he said quietly. After the council session, Tay stood on an observation deck. Stars stretched out in every direction. Real stars, not pictures or videos, the actual universe. Lyria found him there. She walked without the crutch now. Her advanced medicine had healed her leg in days. "Beautiful, isn't it?" "Overwhelming," Tay admitted. "There are so many stars, so many worlds. We're so small in comparison." "But significant," Lyria said. "Size doesn't determine importance. My father learned that. The council learned that." Today, humanity became significant because of who you are, not what you have. "What happens now?" Tay asked. "Now? The council will select a location for the embassy. Probably somewhere neutral. Not too big a city, not too remote. Diplomats will be trained on both sides. Scientists will prepare educational materials. It will take time. And you? I'll finish my original mission, the peace negotiations, stop the war that almost started." She smiled. "Thanks to you buying me time, I can still do that." "I'm glad." They stood in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Lyria spoke again. "The council wants you to be one of Earth's first ambassadors. They were impressed by you." Tay laughed. "Me? I'm just a park ranger." "Exactly. You're not a politician, not a scientist, not a soldier. You're just a good person who did the right thing. That's what Earth needs to show the galaxy." "I'll think about it." "Do more than think. The galaxy needs more people like you, Tay." Emperor Vexthor appeared. He had been quiet since the vote, processing everything. "Tay, walk with me." They walked along the observation deck. The Emperor's guards stayed far behind, giving them privacy. "I was wrong about your species," Vexthor said. "I saw primitive tools and assumed primitive minds. I was arrogant." "You were scared," Tay corrected gently. "Scared for your daughter. That's understandable." "Perhaps." The Emperor stopped walking. "I want to give you something. A gift. To thank you for saving Lyria." You don't have to. I know, but I want to. Vexthor held out a small device. It looked like a smooth stone with symbols on it. This is a personal communicator, connected directly to my ship. If you ever need anything at all, you activate this and I will hear you. Help will come. Tay took it carefully. This is too much. It is not enough, Vexthor said. You saved my daughter. You showed me that wisdom exists beyond technology. You helped prevent a war. A communication device is the least I can offer. He put his hand on Tay's shoulder. You are always welcome in my empire, Tay of Earth. You and any human who shares your spirit. Remember that. Tay felt tears in his eyes. He blinked them away. Thank you, Your Majesty. Just Vexthor, the Emperor said. Friends do not need titles. 3 days later, Tay returned to Earth. The council arranged a quiet landing near his mountain cabin. No media, no crowds, just a simple return. Hyun was waiting for him. So, how was space? Terrifying and amazing, Tay said. He told Hyun everything, the council meeting, the vote, the Emperor's gift, all of it. So Earth is part of the galaxy now, Hyun said. That's going to be weird. Very weird, Tay agreed. They walked back to the cabin together. The forest looked the same. The mountains looked the same. But everything felt different now. Earth was no longer alone, no longer isolated. The universe had opened up. You going to take that ambassador job? Hyun asked. Maybe. Someone has to show them that humans are more than our worst moments. Why not me? Why not indeed? They reached the cabin, Tay's simple home in the mountains, the place where all this started, where he had pulled an alien princess from a burning ship and changed the course of history. He sat on his porch and looked at the stars. They looked different now. Before, they were just lights in the sky. Now they were places, worlds, people, possibilities. His radio crackled. It was the ranger station. Tay? You there? We've been trying to reach you for days. I'm here, Tay said. Sorry, I was busy. Busy? There's been reports of weird lights in your sector, strange explosions. Some people claim they saw spaceships. What's going on up there? Tay smiled. Nothing much. Just first contact with alien civilizations. You know, the usual. Silence on the radio. Then, Tay, have you been drinking? I wish I was. It would make this easier to believe. He turned off the radio. Tomorrow he would explain everything. Tomorrow he would help Earth prepare for the changes coming. Tomorrow he might start his new job as ambassador. But tonight he just sat on his porch, looking at the stars, thinking about alien princesses and emperors, about hunters and battles, about how sometimes the right thing to do is just help someone who needs it. 6 months later, the Earth Embassy opened. It was built in Switzerland, neutral territory. Representatives from 20 different alien species came to work there. Human diplomats, scientists, and regular people visited to learn. Ty was there for the opening ceremony. He wore a suit. He still felt uncomfortable in it. He would rather be in his ranger uniform. Lyria came to Earth for the ceremony. She walked through the building with wonder. You've adapted so fast. 6 months, and you already have students learning galactic languages. Scientists publishing papers on the cultural exchange. Artists creating fusion works. Humans adapt, Tay said. It's what we do best. Indeed. They walked outside. A garden had been planted. Earth plants and alien plants growing side by side. A symbol of cooperation. Thank you, Tay, Lyria said, for everything. For saving me. For showing my father who humans really are. For giving the galaxy a chance to see Earth as it truly is. Thank you, Tay replied. For crashing near my cabin. For trusting me. For seeing past our primitive technology to the people underneath. They both laughed. Above them, in orbit, The Galactic Council maintained their watch, protecting Earth as it took its first steps into the larger universe. The Emperor's fleet stood ready to defend if needed, but there was no need. Other empires had heard the story, the primitive world that outsmarted Kryn hunters, the humans who built alien technology from scrap, the species that valued compassion over advancement. Earth's reputation had been established, not as primitive, not as advanced, but as human, and in the vast galaxy full of countless species, that was enough. Tay looked up at the stars one more time, his stars now, Earth's stars, humanity's future. And somewhere far above, Emperor Vexithor looked down at the small blue world that had taught him humility, the primitive planet that had saved his daughter, the species that proved technology wasn't everything. He smiled and gave an order. Send a message to Earth. Tell them their first diplomatic ship is ready. If they want to visit other worlds, we will guide them. It's time they saw what's out there. His advisor looked surprised. Your Majesty? Are you sure? They've only had 6 months. They're ready, Vexthor said with certainty. Trust me. They're more than ready. And he was right. Humanity's journey to the stars had begun. Not with advanced technology, not with powerful weapons, but with the simple act of one man helping another in need. Sometimes that's all it takes to change the universe.